Hello everyone. So like last time in the last video, we learnt about some of the things that were not covered in the first video. In the last video, we covered the topics of reflex angle and a complete angle. And then we moved on to the pairs of angle, that is complementary angle and supplementary angle. After that, we did what is an adjacent angle and what about linear pairs. Also, we learnt about what is a vertically opposite angle, it's perpendicular, and we learned what is a transversal and how it can affect an angle and what are the things that comes under a transversal when transversal passes through two parallel lines. So what are the consequences or what are the things that can be made through that? So we discussed it in the last video. Now today, since we have completed all the basic concept that we need to start the geometry, we'll be solving more questions in this video. Also, I'll be dropping the worksheets in the description box. So if you guys want, you can check that also, and you can use those worksheets to solve it. Okay, so without wastage of time, let's get started. I'm sharing you the sheet. So the first thing that we are going to learn today is reading a protector. Basically, a protector is an instrument that is used to measure an angle. It is used to measure an angle. So now we are going to use a protector. I'm sure you have all seen this protector in your mathematical geometry box or, someone using it. So I'm very sure about that. Now, let's see how we can use this to measure angles and how it works. Basically, for example, like I have this protector with me, as you can see. Now, this protector, how it works. Let's see. This protector, as you can see, it looks like this. It's like a semicircle. Now, this is the protector. Since you know that a semicircle makes of 180 degree as a whole, right? 180 degree as a whole. So that means basically this protector can measure mostly the maximum of 180 degrees, right? And that is enough because we can use the same protector to measure more and you till 360 degree, because if you will just turn it upside down, that is going to give you, it will be a complete circle, and that's going to give you the total value of 360 degrees, right? So now let's just begin with the basic things. So when you are measuring towards your right, like towards this side, when the angle is leaning towards this side, I'm talking about in context of the right angle. Where is the right angle? As we all know as of now, that this straight line, it represents the right angle. So when an angle is leaning towards the right side of a right angle, inner side of a right angle, then we use the protector's number that is there in the bottom. As you can see, the numbers that is there in the bottom, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. We use that. But when an angle is leaning towards the left of the right angle, then we measure this side over here. In both the cases, we actually measures the bottom. In some protector, there are things like over here, it's on the other side, it may be 0, 10, 20, 30, but always remember this side, the right side will be the lesser side and the left side will be the higher value side. So always remember this thing, always keep this thing in your mind. Now, because it's very much obvious that if right angle is this one, and the angles that are smaller than right angle, that means 90 degree, is on this side, is on right side. Obviously the angles that are bigger than 90 degrees will be on the left side. Now this can be rotated as well. If it is rotated, then maybe the value changes, but in general we read the protector like this only. So take your standard as the right angle. Okay, now let's begin. Let me help you with solving the question first. So we have to find out what is the measurement of the angle that angle that is being made over here. So this was the angle that was made. Now we have to identify. See, always when you are seeing a protector, when you are using a protector to measure the angle, this straight line or the line that is in the bottom should always match the protector's line. As you can see, this line is matching to this protector's line. The line of the angle is matching towards the protector's line. So it should always match. That is when you can make a proper measurement. Now, if we see the angle, you know that it's less than 90 degree. Obviously, it's leaning towards the right. It's less than 90 degrees. Now, there is one more question that, students get confused very often. That is, for example, if this is a right angle, and what if it is towards this side? Still, it is a right angle, right? Let me just draw it. Yeah, still, it's a right angle. Yes, yeah, it's a right angle for sure. So, if it will lean towards this side, it's going to be lesser than 90 degrees. See, always remember when it's over here, if the right angle is on this side, then this will be the lesser side. If right angle is towards this side, then the lesser side is this, as always. Okay, now let's move on to measuring the angle. So as you can see, this line, we count the other line as the value, as the measurement of that particular angle. So for example, you can see that this is going through 70 degrees. So it's a 70-degree angle. It's a 70-degree angle. And if you want to know the name of a 70-degree angle, it's your duty to write it in the comment section. As we did before, that angle that are less than 90 degree, what do we call them? So it's your duty to write it. Now, let's move towards the next question. That is over here of the other measurement of angle. Now, as you can see, the right angle over here is this, right? The right angle never changes though. So right angle is this one. Now, okay, let's move to this. See, as I've mentioned before, that the other line, we consider it as a proper section, right? So now this line is falling in between 120 to 130. As you can see, it's falling between 120 to 130 over here, and it's exact in the center. So it's going to be 125, right? 125. There is one more important thing that you should know, that the linings in between the angles is same as a clock lining. If you have seen the clock, you know that the clock is, for every 5 minutes. The numbers are written for every 5 minutes. Other than that, there are the linings that are marked and that represents the numbers in between, right? So same goes with here as well. So if you can see, let me help you this one. Let's see, this is 130 degrees and this is 140 degree, right? So in between that, you will see the 8 lines, right? The line in the middle, that is, you can see this one, it's the exact half of both of it. For example, 130 and 140, in between, it's 135, right? So that line is representing 135. Same with this as well, because it is one exact in between of 130 and 120. So it's going to be 125 degrees. The angle measurement is 125 degrees. 125 degrees. So with the same thing, same procedure, you need to do all the question. Let's move to the question 3 and let's see the answer of it. So as you can see, it's over here. The lining is over here. Now there is a slight difference in this question. As you can see, it's not completely on 50, because if it was, it should be here, right? If it was, then it should be here. But it's not completely on 50. So that means it's less than 50, right? And how much less than 50? How we will know? We will have to count this. See, this is the lining that shows 45, right? And this is 46, 47, and this is on the 48, right? This is on the 48. So this angle is 48-degree angles. This is a 48-degree angle. You can write it a 48-degree angle. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. As you can see again, it's 140. It's more than 140, but how much more? See, 141, and this is 142. So the angle measurement over here is 142 degrees. 142 degrees. Same like this, you can solve the other question. You can pause the video and solve the other questions as well. Okay, done. Now let's see the answers. So this angle is of, let's say it's of 77 degrees. Now this one is of exactly, it's between 10 and 20, so that makes it 15. So it's 15-degree angle. Let's move on to the next. So that's this one. It's more than 60 degrees. And how much more? It's two more than 60 degrees. So it's 62. It's 62. Now, let's move on to the last of this. And this one is the biggest angle so far. Let's see this. So it's between 170 and 180. How much from 170? Let's see. So 170, 171, 172, and 173. So it's on 173 degrees. It's 173-degree angle. Now, let's move on. As we know now how to use a protractor to measure an angle, or you can use the same protractor to draw an angle as well. For example, if you have to draw 49-degree angle, you will always use the same protractor to draw it. As I've mentioned before, there are some technicalities that are involved, that the bottom line should always match the line of the protector. Then only you will be able to make a proper angle. Now after this, you can just start making angle however you like. You can just start making the angle. Let's move on. Yes, so now let's move on to the topic. So this one is how you measure or how you make an angle using the same protector. Now, let's move on to the next question of measuring angles using a protector. So in this question, you have to use a protector to measure these angles. Generally, if in general, okay, we cannot be so much accurate without a protector. But if you want to measure the angles in general, see, it could be 2 or 3 more or 2 or 3 less sometimes. But yeah, in general, see, let's see, this is how we measure an angle. This is, of course, will not when you are solving the question or when you are doing something which needs proper measurement. So this is just a basic idea. This is just a basic detail. As you can see, I've drawn a angle, a line that is representing this as a whole right angle. Now, if you will see this, the angles, this angle and this angle has some difference. So basically the half of a right angle is 45 degrees, right? So, but it's more than half. So you can say it as a 60-degree angle maybe, or a 55-degree angle or 65-degree angles. So this can be the how you can measure. But of course, you can't use this method or this logic for the questions when you are solving properly or which needs a proper measurements. You can just use it for general life or general purposes. See, this angle, when I see, I generally just call it as a 120-degree angle, but of course it may be less than it or more than it, 2 or 3. Yeah, that matters. That how we will know with the help of using a protector. Now, let's move on to the angle estimation. See, this is what I was talking about, the estimation of angles. See, we can use a protector, that's perfectly fine, but here we need to give an estimate. That estimation means you are not sure, right? We are not 100% sure that if it is the same angle without using a protector. So as I've told you, always when you are estimating, always refer it through a right angle. So if I make a right angle like this, if this point is a right angle, then it's just the half of it. If you can see, just the half of it. So maybe it's a 45-degree angles, because half of 90 degrees is generally 45. So that's how I get the estimation through it. Again, see, this is, as I've told you, always try to do the estimation with the help of a right angle, right? So let's try to make a right angle over here. So this is the right angle. As you can see, it's more than that. It's more than that. So how are we going to manage this? We can do it like this. See, this is more than 90 degrees. So it may be, so let's exclude those options which are there. So it's not 90 degree. See, 180 degree will be a straight angle, right? So let's exclude it. 170 degree will be very close to a straight angle, something like this, right? Over here. But so that's, we exclude it, but the angle is actually this one. Only one option is left, that is 120 degrees. So you can just do R&D method as well, that you can check, and then you can remove the incorrect answer, and the thing that will left will be the correct answer. So you can do it like this also. Now you can do the other questions by pausing the video, and let's see what if you get the correct answer or not. So 1, 2, 3. Let's start again doing the questions. So this is very easy. It's just a right angle, right? Okay, now let's move to this one. See, this is an upside down angle, right? So if you see an angle like this, don't ever get tensed or confused what to do with it. See, it's just how the angle that you make it on the upper side, it's the same thing. It's just on the other side. It's just on the bottom side. So if you are not very much, feeling good about it, so you can just try converting it into upside. Okay. So it's something like this only. Let's see. It's something like this only. Let's try to draw it. It's something like this only, right? See, of course, if you try to draw a right angle from it, let's try to draw a right angle from it. This is the right angle. Let me use a different color pen. So this is a right angle. Yeah. Over here we have, let's try to draw a right angle. This is the right angle, right? I know that's not a perfect line though. Yeah, this is the right angle. Now, see, as you can see, there are 3 parts of this right angle. That means 90 divided by 3. So very in general, let's exclude those options which are not correct. So this is not 165. This is not also 135. This can be not 70 as well, because there are 3 parts of 90, as we clearly see, and all the parts are looking almost the very same. Okay, so there cannot be a huge gap that one will be 70 and other two will be 10, because the total is 90, right? So this is not that much gap that we can consider this. So let's just cross this option as well. The option that is left at the end as 25, this kind of justifies it. Okay, because if you see that, if you divide just 90 by 3, it's going to be 30 only, right? So by the looks of it, it's look very similar, but exactly, obviously it's not equal. So if you get the 30 as the third part of 90 and your answer is 25 while you are doing estimation, in case of this, so that's going to be a correct answer. See, for doing these type of question, you need to be a bit street smart, as I say, not more than that. Okay. Now, this one is, let's say this is over here, right? It's more than 180. Obviously, it's more than 180, right? See, this cannot be 90. Let's exclude it. This cannot be 45, right? This cannot be 105 only, because 105 would be like this. See, the 105 would be like this only. If you are going through the straight line, see, this is 180-degree angles, right? And this is over here. So 105 should be somewhat here, but it's more than that. That is why it is close to the 180. So that over here, the closest option that we get to 180 is 150 degrees. So that's the correct answer. This one, of course, it's a straight line angle, 180 degrees. See, now here it comes the most interesting thing. So this is an upside down part of the angle. Not to worry. See, this is easy. In this one, you don't even need to draw an angle towards upside, because we know that on a straight line, the total value of the angle is 180 degree, right? So if it is 50 degree on this side, so if you just take away 50 degree from 180 degree, you know how much is left, and that is going to be the value of that side. So 180 take away 50 degree will be 130 degree left, right? So just cross all the answers, and and option C is the correct option. Now this one again, it's 90-degree angle. So if this side is 75, 90 take away 75 is how much? It's 15. So that's the correct answer. This one, if this side is 165 on a straight line angle, which is 180 degree, just take away 165 and that's going to be 15. That's going to be your answer, right? Okay, the next thing, this is 30, and what would be this one? See, this is the right angle, of course. If one part is 30, so 90 take away 30 is nothing but 60 degrees only, right? So that's how you do the question. Now, let's move on to the third type of question that is going to be there in your examination, or that you are going to see on the basic of geometries of lines and angles mostly. Finding the missing angle. This is the most important part. See, this is the same thing that we did in the last two questions, that you have to find the missing angle of each. Let's see this. Let's name these angles first, so that would be more helpful for us to while solving and talking about the question. So whenever you see an angle which is not named, just try to name it for your purpose. That will surely going to help you understand and to prevent the confusion. Okay, so this is A, O, B, now P, Q, R. Okay, now we have mentioned the name of angle. So angle AOR is 20 degrees. See, this is a straight line angle. Of course, we know that a straight line angle is 180 degree. The total sum of the straight line angle is going to be 180 degrees. So this is 20, this is 60, this is 60. How much is it? 140, right? This is going to be 140. Now we know the value that if you take away 140 from 180, it's nothing but 40 degrees. So how much is the value of this angle? It's going to be 40 degrees only. Now try to solve this question till the time I name it. Okay, so I guess you're done. Let's see what is the value of this angle. Again, it's on a straight line, so 180 degrees is the total value. Always remember, the sum of the straight line angle is always 180 degrees, right? So let's see. One is angle angle UST is 75 degrees, angle VSU is 50 degrees. So how much it makes? It makes a total of 125, right? So 125. So if you take away 125 from 180, how much is it going to be left? So it's going to be, yeah. So how much is it going to be now? So it's going to be 55, right? It's going to be 55 degrees. So this angle X, or you can say angle RSV, is 55 degrees. You can cross check it as well by adding all of them, so that it can make 180 degree. If it is making 180 degree, then only it's correct. Of course, 50 100 plus 5 is 105, and 105 plus 75 is going to be 180 for sure, right? This is how you do the question. Now let's move on to the next part of the question. That is, again, 53, 65, you need to take away, you need to do the total of 53 and 65. Just take it away from 180. That's going to give you the correct answer. So 50 plus 60 is going to be 110, and plus 5 is 115, plus 3 is 118. So if you take away 118 from 180, so how much is left? 62 is going to be left, right? So here is your answer, 62. The value of this angle is 62 degrees. Let's solve this one. So this is 30, this is 70, and this is 55. Let's just do the total. So that is how much? 50 plus 30 is going to be 80. Like 80 plus 70 is going to be 150, and plus 5 is 155. So if you just take away 155 from 180, how much is left? Again, it's going to be 25 that is left. 25 degrees. Right? Now, let's move, let's move on to the next part of the question. That is this question. So here we have 50 degrees, 25 degrees, 55 degrees. So easy. 50 plus 20 is 70, and 70 plus 5 plus 5 is 80. And 80 plus 50 is going to be 130, right? So if you just take away 130 from 180, it's going to be 50 degrees only. So this one is 50 degrees. Let's move on to the last question. So here it is. This one is 110. This one is the easiest of them all. This is 110 degrees. This is 34 degrees. So 110 plus 34 is going to be 144, right? Now, if you take away 180 from, if you take away 144 from 180, how much is it going to left? So it's 36, right? So the answer is 36 degrees. Yes? Okay, so this is how we do the missing angles question. Of course, these were the question which were on a straight line. We'll do a different part of a question which is a total of complete angle questions. On those questions on that video, we will learn and practice more about the linear pair, the adjacent angle, the vertically opposite angle. There, the concept of these will be more prominent than this one on a straight line angle, because it's just the straight line angle is 180 degree. You need to remember this thing. You need to keep this thing in your mind as always, because it's just a straight line. So I hope you enjoyed the video and you liked it. Now, so that is it for today. We'll meet tomorrow or in the next video. That is it for today. Bye-bye.